हेलो टू ऑल, कैसे हैं आप लोग सब। आई होप आप लोग सब ठीक होंगे। सो वी वर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द चैप्टर कॉल्ड केमिस्ट्री इन एवरीडे लाइफ. द फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ दैट, द केमिस्ट्री यूज इन मेडिसिन और ड्रग्स हैज बीन completed. Now we are entering in the next part of this chapter, and that is related to the chemicals which are present or included in food. Basically, these chemicals are included in food to preserve that, or to increase the taste of that, or to colorize that. So basically, we are going to discuss about some topics, the chemicals in food products. Basically, in this particular topic, we are having food preservatives. We'll discuss about the food preservatives. We will discuss about the artificial sweetening agents, and we will discuss about the antioxidants. So let's talk about the topic. First one, all those chemicals which are added to food to improve its keeping qualities, means preservation, appearance, means color or specific fragrance, taste, odor, and nutritive value, are called food additive. Very important point is there. These things are not going to change the quality or the nutrition value of the food material, and these are added to keep the qualities maintained, to get the good appearance, to get the good taste, to get the good odor, and sometimes we are also including them to create the nutritive values. So basically, these are the chemicals which are also called as food additives. So if examiner is asking you what is food additive, then you can include all these things in that. Some important food additives are food colors, as I have given you, flavors and sweeteners, fat emulsifiers and stabilizing agents, flavor improvers, anti-scaling agents and bleaches, antioxidant, preservatives, nutritional supplements such as minerals, vitamin and amino acids. But basically, as far as the syllabus is considered, we are going to focus only three topics. The first one is food preservatives, the second will be the artificial sweeteners, and the third will be antioxidant substances. So let's talk about the first one. The first topic is food preservatives. The food preservative is a substance which, when added to a food, is capable of inhibiting, retarding, and arresting the process of fermentation, acidification, or other decomposition of food by growth of microbes. Basically, the food gets spoiled because of the increasement in the number of bacteria in that particular food items. Sometimes these bacteria create acidified nature. Sometimes these get the fermentation of that food material. So ultimately, that food which is having a large number of bacteria is not useful. So in that particular condition, we want to protect our food from those microbes, and the substances or the chemicals which are included to stop the growth, or to not to allow the bacteria to propagate over there, are called food preservatives. Basically, in our day-to-day life, we are having three basic things like cold conditions. We are having refrigerators at our home. We are preserving our different kind of vegetables, fruits over there. We are having some specific medicines which we protect over there in cooling conditions. The second one is hot condition. Sometimes we are heating a substance to get the bacteria away from the food material. For example, we are boiling the milk so that it can have the denaturification of the bacteria, and that can sustain for a long time. The salt, we are using salt in several kind of snacks, like chips, in several kind of spices, and we are using that in pickles also. So these are the methods by which we can preserve the food. There are basically two methods to preserve the food. One is physical method, and the second one is chemical method. Physical method is not so given in your syllabus, but still you should know about that. The physical method is by removal of heat or cooling it. Sometimes if we are putting anything in normal temperature or in a above temperature, higher temperature, then it will get spoiled, like milk. If we are putting milk in higher temperature condition, then it will spoil. So it's very important to get away the heat from it. Means we should cool that. We should get the cooling of that. Sometimes the fruits uh, cannot be used for a long time in normal temperature or at high temperature, so we have to preserve them in refrigerators. Vegetables, meat, fish, these are some of the substances which are having the need of cooling to be preserved for a long time. Cooling lowers the temperature, which prevent growth of microbes. Basically, whenever we are putting anything in the cooling conditions, then it is not allowing the normal temperature. So when the temperature is lower, then in that condition the microbes are not able to get their biological process of fermentation, so we can easily preserve the food item. Physical method. The next physical method is by addition of heat. Sometimes we include the heat to kill the germs. Like pasteurization is a very common example. Have you ever heard the pasteurization? Actually, pasteurization was proposed by Louis Pasteur, and according to him, if we are heating the milk above 100 degrees temperature, and after that we are cooling that, then in that condition it will not be allowed to get the propagation of the germs. So we can have the pure milk for a long time. This process is called pasteurization, and the pasteurization is basically used for dairy products like milk commonly. Sterilization, sometimes the scientists and the doctors are using some specific equipments, and these equipments are treated with the high temperature or heat, so that the microbes can be easily denatured. The next physical method is by removal of water. Sometimes the presence of water in a specific type of material can cause the bacterial propagation. So we have to remove that. In our India, we are having several spices. We are giving heat to them so that the water can be evaporated and it can sustain for a long time. Like if you are having green vegetables or you are having green chilies, these cannot sustain for a long time. But if we are giving heat to that and we are getting dehydration of that, we can store that for a long time in form of powder and other things. So these are some of the examples. Drying prohibit the growth of the microorganism, and somehow it is also correlated with the heating effect. The next method is also the physical method. It is by the irradiation. Sometimes we are treating the food items with the specific kind of radiations. These radiations also kill the microbes of germs, or that is not allowing the germs to propagate easily. So EMR, electromagnetic resonance, used for irradiation. Radiation should not induce radioactivity in the food. Actually, whenever we are introducing the food with a specific kind of radiation, then that radiation should not affect the food. So that's why we are having specific kind of radiations, and it is very specific process. It is used in those food items which are very precious, or we are going to supply that for a specific no contamination zone. The next one is important, and that is related to your syllabus even, is chemical method. The chemical methods are very, very important. The first one is addition of sugar. We are having several kind of jams, jellies at our home, and we are using them for a long time. How these can be sustained for a long time without getting the spoil? The reason behind that is addition of sugar and apply heat. Actually, whenever we are adding sugar in a huge amount and applying the heat, then that can preserve the food item for a long time. What is the mechanism behind that? Basically, when we are including the sugar in a specific kind of solution in a higher amount, then basically the concentration of that solution get increased, and this solution, which is with a high concentration of sugar, gets removal of water from the microbes. I mean to say, whenever we are having the microbes on such kind of solution at which the sugar concentration is very higher, then the water from the livings or the microbes will come out. The process is called plasmolysis. The process of getting the water outside from the microbes to the sugar solution is called plasmolysis, and this is the basic process by which the microbes cannot propagate easily, or they are not able to grow easily in higher sugar containing solutions. So sugar is also a very easy, cheap and simple kind of food preservative. The next chemical method is addition of vinegar. You know about the vinegar? Vinegar is acetic acid. The dilute solution of that is called acetic acid. The dilute solution of that is called vinegar. This is acetic acid, and the purest form of acetic acid looks like the glaciers, so that is called glacial acetic acid. It is commonly known as sour wine because it is an acid and sour in taste. So whenever we are including vinegar in a food item, then that can also cause food preservation. So basically, food preservatives are some of the food preservatives are given in your syllabus, and we have to focus them keenly. The first one is sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate is one of the famous kind of food preservative. Sodium benzoate, actually this is the structure of benzoic acid. This is the formula of benzoic acid, and if you are removing this one and getting Na over there, then this is called sodium benzoate. This sodium benzoate is used in soft drinks. Basically, it is used in soft drinks and acidic food items. So in soft drinks, in cold drinks, we are having preservation by the sodium benzoate. It is very important. Keep that in your memories. The next one is sodium metabisulfite. Sodium metabisulfite is also a very good kind of food preservative. It is used as preservative for the products such as jams, squashes, pickles, all that. Sodium metabisulfate. If you will turn the packaged pickles, jams, then you will definitely get these names behind that. Sorbic acid and its salt. Sorbic acid is also a very good kind of food preservative. It is used for controlling the growth of yeast and molds in products like cheese, baked food. So in specifically dairy product like cheese, baked food, we are using sorbic acid and its salt. Basically, the sorbic acid and the salts are not allowing the fungus to propagate. And you know that maximum food items are spoiled due to the fungus. Epoxides. These are highly effective in presence of low moisture food. It is mainly used for preservation of spices, nuts, and dried fruits. We know that cashews, almonds gets spoiled in humidity in basically in rainy season, because there is humidity around us, and that humidity can give the fungus and the bacteria a condition to propagate easily. So epoxides are used over there. Epoxides are basically used as food preservative in dry fruits. Epoxide is basically the compound like this one. This is basically called as epoxide. The para-hydroxybenzoate ester. These are no perceptible effect on flavor and are effective in inhibiting the growth of molds and yeast, but are less effective on bacteria. Basically, this is the chemical which is used for fungus. So there are some dry fruits which are easily affected by the fungus, and these some chemicals can not allow the will not allow the fungus to propagate easily. So now we are having the next one. We are having some of the chemical forms. We have discussed about the sorbic acid. Basically, the sorbic acid is used. We have recently discovered about the sorbic acid. That sorbic acid and salt is used in cheese and baked food. The next one is salt of propionic acid, the sodium benzoate. These all are used as food preservatives. Some others has been already discussed. So okay, we will discuss about the remainings. Examples are very important. Examiner can straightly ask you examples. Sodium benzoate, epoxides, propionic acid, sorbic acid and their salt. These are some of the examples of food preservative. I hope you have got the concept. The next one is artificial sweetening agents. Now, what is the mean by sweetening agent? Sweetening agents are those chemical compounds which are having sweetening effect. When you will study about the biomolecules, then you will come to know that there are specific carbohydrates which are having sweet in taste. Those are called sugars. So sugars are having the capability to get the sweetening effect, and those are known as natural sweetening agents, like glucose, like fructose, like maltose. These are some of the examples. Sucrose. These are some of the examples of sweetening agent. But there is a problem with that. A person who is having improper pancreas. You know what the pancreas? Pancreas is a specific kind of gland inside our body, which is 99% exocrine, means having the tubes to secrete its chemicals, and the remaining 1% is endocrine, means this part is not having the tubes to secrete the chemicals, and basically these chemicals are called hormones. So pancreas is having three kind of cells, basically alpha cell, beta cells, and delta cells. Out of these, beta cells are very important. Beta cells of pancreas are secreting a specific hormone called insulin. And this insulin is basically having the function to absorb glucose. So I am repeating that. Pancreas, which is exoendocrine gland, 99% is exocrine, 1% is endocrine. The endocrine part is having three type of cells, alpha, beta and delta. The beta cells will secrete a specific hormone called insulin. This insulin hormone is having the tendency to absorb glucose from the blood. and it will supply it to the cells so that there may be a combustion process or respiration, and then there will be a formation of energy. So ultimately beta cells are having a huge function to secrete insulin, and insulin is having the function to absorb glucose. But sometimes when the pancreas is not working properly, ultimately the beta cells are not working properly, then the person will feel the problem to not to absorb glucose again from the blood, and there will be a condition of high glucose in blood, that is called blood sugar commonly, and in medical term it is known as diabetes mellitus. So basically what is the mean by that? Beta cells are not able to secrete the insulin properly. There may be several reasons for that. There may be genetic reason, there may be some health issues, there may be some lifestyle issues, but ultimately the insulin is not secreted. When insulin will not be secreted, there will be no reabsorption of glucose. When the absorption of glucose will not take place, then it will definitely increase the concentration of glucose in blood, and that condition will be blood sugar, and in medical term it is known as diabetes mellitus. So in this particular condition, doctor will prescribe such kind of persons to use artificial sweetening agents. Means these are the chemical substances which are sweet in taste, but ultimately not the sugars. Means will not give you glucose inside the body after the digestion. So that will be a beneficial condition for such kind of diabetic persons. Now we are going to discuss about the next one. Artificial sweetening agents. Artificial sweetening agents are those chemicals which are not sugar in nature, and these are sweet in nature. Sugar and fructose are the most widely used natural sweeteners, but they add to our caloric intake and promote the tooth decay, because these are somehow producing the higher amount of glucose inside the body. To avoid these problems, many people take artificial sweeteners. Some person who are not diabetic but still using that, because these sucrose and fructose can create such kind of, they are having high caloric value, so they can create obesity and promote the tooth decay. To avoid these problems, many people take artificial sweeteners, as I have given you the clue. Some important artificial sweeteners are, these artificial sweeteners are repetitively asked in CBSE exams, so be alert about that, be conscious about that. Saccharin is one of the most important, several times it has been asked. Saccharin, chemical it is known as orthosulfobenzimide. Orthosulfobenzimide. It is the first most popular artificial sweetener. It has been used as sweetening agent. Since it is insoluble in water, it is very important. It is insoluble in water, therefore it is sold in the market as soluble sodium or calcium salt. In market, it is found in sodium or calcium salt, so that it can easily get the solution solvation in water. Otherwise, in pure form, it is not soluble. It is about 550 times sweeter than sugar. This formula is also very important. Saccharin is not soluble in water, but the calcium and sodium salt of that is soluble in water, so we generally use that. It is 550 times sweeter than the sugar. If you are purchasing 1 kilogram saccharin, then it will be quite enough in compare of 550 kilogram of sucrose. Next one, aspartame. It is one of the most successful and widely used artificial sweetener. It is roughly 100 times as sweet as sucrose. So the sweetening ability is controlled over here. It decomposes at baking or cooking temperature. Whenever you are cooking anything and included with the aspartame, then it will decay or it will decompose, and hence can be used only in cold food and soft drink. It has been asked in exam. In cold food, cold drinks, we are using aspartame as a sweetening agent. Okay, the structure is given, but there is no need to learn the structure. But in cold drinks, we are using aspartame. Elitame, it is similar to the aspartame, however more stable than the aspartame. It is about 2000 times sweet as sucrose. So elitame is is having very high sweetening capability. So that was about the sweetening agents: aspartame, elitame, sucrose. These sucrose is natural. So the last topic of today's class is antioxidant. Antioxidant is a substance which, when added to food, retard or prevents oxidative deterioration of food. What happens with the food? Suppose that you are purchasing a chips packet without the air inside, then, or you are having any oily substance which has been kept in direct contact of air, then what basically happens? Oxidation of food takes place because of the free radical are generated. whenever we are having any oily substance in direct contact of air, then the oxygen react with that. We are, in 10th class we have discussed about rancidity. That kind of situation is over here. So we are having oxidation of food, and this oxidation of food will create a specific kind of malodor or mal taste. Ultimately it will spoil the food. So we will use some antioxidant substances which will revert that process, means remove the oxygen once again, or will not allow the oxygen to attach with the edible food items. So antioxidants are those chemicals which are making the which are not allowing the oxygen to attach with the food even, or that will create the reverse process. So antioxidants are also a specific kind of food preservatives. Some examples of antioxidants: BHT. It has been asked in examination. Butylated hydroxytoluene. The complete name is very important. Butylated hydroxytoluene. So fat plus oxygen, oily substance plus oxygen, free radical, and when we are including BHT, then BHT radical will form, and ultimately the food will not be spoiled. BHT radical does not react further with molecule of the fat, thus the chain reaction stop. It prevents oxidative rancidity of food. So basically this is used as an antioxidant solution. BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole. BHA is generally used to preserve fat and prevent them from becoming rancid. BHA is found in butter, meats, cereals, chewing gum, baked food, beer, dehydrated potatoes, rubber products, cosmetics, and petroleum. This is also antioxidant. Basically, antioxidants are also used in creams, because these are the things which will remove some impurities or the chemicals which are spoiling the surface or skin. So basically we were having some other example, like saccharine has been discussed in medicines, in toothpaste, low caloric sweets, soft drinks, cold drinks. We are using saccharine. Basically we have discussed about that. It is extracted from the body in urine unchanged. Actually, whenever a person is having higher concentration of saccharine inside the body, it is easily removed from the body because it is excreted from the body in urine without any change. It is first popular artificial sweetening agent. We have discussed about that. Saccharine is one of the most important artificial sweetener. We have discussed about the aspartame. We have discussed about the elitame. We have discussed about the sucralose. Sucralose is also very important kind of sweetening agent. It is trichloro-derivative of sucrose. Its appearance and taste are like sugar. It is stable at cooking temperature. It does not provide caloric values. Actually, the reason to use the sugar-free things is also people are very conscious about their obesity. So, in this particular condition, they will not use high caloric sugar supplements. So, in place of that, they will use sucralose, aspartame, like that. So that is all about the artificial sweetening agents. That is all about the antioxidant, and we have also discussed about the food preservatives in today's class. I hope you have got the concept. If you will watch the video once, you will get the concept easily, and whenever you will revise these, then it will be yours, no doubt at all. So thanks from my side. Thank you.